welcome back to French Toast, and today we have another tutorial, step-by-step tutorial for the preparation of the GCSE French Higher Tier, Paper 3, and it's reading, and this one is from 2022. And I will put, hopefully, if I don't forget, the link in the description box so you can download it and follow along. Okay, so let's start with the first section. Section A, questions and answers in English. Answer all questions in the spaces provided. This first text is about an extreme sports person. Read this online article about a champion climber, James Kingston. Write T for true, F for false, and NT not in the text. So I will read the text and I will be translating it at the same time. James fait de l'escalade sans équipement. James does climbing or climb without any equipment, meaning without safety measures. James a escaladé la Tour Eiffel. James has climbed the Eiffel Tower. Sans autorisation, without any authorization. Il voulait acheter un billet pour monter au deuxième étage, puis continuer sur la structure. He wanted to buy a ticket to go up to the second floor, then continue on the structure. Le nombre de touristes était un trop gros obstacle au succès de ce projet. The number of tourists was too much of a big obstacle to the success of this project. Alors, il a attendu 1 heure du matin pour faire l'exploit. So, he waited until 1 a.m. in the morning in order to accomplish his feat. Après, il a promis de ne jamais s'approcher de la tour. After that, he promised that he would never get close to the tower. Promesse qu'il va observer. Promise that he will keep. So, let's have a look at the first statement. James had permission to climb the tower. It's false because it says here sans autorisation, without permission. He had to change his original plan. True, because he wanted to do it by ticket, but there were too many tourists, so he waited 1 a.m. Climbing the tower took more than an hour. It's not in the text, so NT. He will go back to the tower. False, because it says après, il a promis de ne jamais s'approcher de la tour. After that, he promised that he would never get closer to the tower. Okay. All right, second text is tourist guide. You see a Swiss blog which talks about becoming a guide. Let's see. Le premier avantage d'être guide touristique est de mieux connaître l'histoire. So, the first advantage of being a tourist guide is to better know history. Par ailleurs, after all, un guide n'aura aucune occasion d'être en mauvaise compagnie. After all, a guide will never have a chance to be in bad company. Car les personnes en vacances sont toujours de bonne humeur. Because people on holidays, they are always in a good mood. Bonne humeur is good mood. Et il est facile de trouver un emploi temporaire en dehors de la saison de tourisme, vu que ce métier demande une connaissance en plusieurs langues vivantes. And moreover, it is easy to find a temporary job outside the tourist season, since this kind of job demand that we know several languages. Il faut noter que ce métier n'est pas sans inconvénients. We have to note that this kind of a job is not without inconvenience. En effet, il est nécessaire d'être toujours prêt à travailler durant l'été. In fact, it is always necessary to be ready to work during the holidays, during the summer holidays. Certains guides doivent même travailler 7 jours sur 7. Some guides have even to work 7 days a week. So answer the questions in English. What are 3 advantages of becoming guide? So the 3 advantages is that we know history. To better know history, mieux connaître l'histoire, to better know history, to always be in good company, because here it says un guide n'aura aucune occasion d'être en mauvaise compagnie. A guide will never be surrounded by not such a good company. So to be around good company, that's one advantage. And also it's easy to find a job, a temporary job during the outside season. Okay, and one other thing is that to be a guide, one good thing about being a guide is to be surrounded by people who are in good mood, pleasant people, because they're on holiday. What 2 disadvantages are mentioned? Alors, this is in the second small paragraph. So the disadvantage is that you have to be ready to work all the time, and also sometimes you have to work 7 days a week. En effet, il est nécessaire d'être toujours prêt à travailler, all the time be ready to work during the summer, pendant l'été. Certains guides doivent même travailler 7 jours sur 7, 7 days a week. These are the disadvantages. Okay, so the next one is film review. So a French cinema website, you read these reviews of a recent film, Adolescente. Adolescente means teenager in feminine term. What do these reviews think about the film? P for positive, N for negative, P and N, positive and negative. Alors, let's see statement A through E. Un bon film qu'il faut aller voir à tout prix. A good movie, a great movie that needs to be seen at once. So, à tout prix, it means, it's a French expression, it means you have to. You have, like you can say, tu dois me donner de l'argent à tout prix. You have to give me money. That's it. At once, à tout prix. No matter what it means. Avec une grande délicatesse, le cinéaste s'approche tout près d'Emma et Anaïs, partagent leurs secrets et leurs peurs remarquables. With great delicacy, the cineast, the filmmaker, got really close to Emma and Anaïs, and they shared their secrets and fears. And then it says remarquable. This is remarkable. À travers ces deux jeunes filles, through these two young ladies, on comprend leur monde. We understand their world. Quelques séquences sont un peu longues. Few sequences are a bit too long. La vie est trop courte pour voir un film aussi peu intéressant. Life is too short to go see a movie that is not that interesting. En plus, furthermore, le documentaire n'est pas subtil. The documentary is not subtle, is not refined at all. Le réalisateur a suivi pendant 5 ans 2 jeunes adolescentes. The filmmaker followed around for 5 years 2 young ladies. Franchement, il a gaspillé son temps et son argent. Frankly, he wasted his time and money. So let's see what the reviewer A is all about. You have to go see the movie. Un bon film. So it starts with un bon film, a great movie. So it's positive. B, avec une grande délicatesse, with great sophistication. And then it says remarkable. So it's positive. Here it says through these girls, we understand their world. However, few sequences are too long, so it's positive and negative. The D, it says life is too short, la vie est trop courte pour avoir un film aussi peu intéressant, so this is negative because it's not interesting. And then, le réalisateur a suivi ces jeunes filles. It says, il a gaspillé son temps et son argent. He wasted. Gaspillé, it's wasted. Son temps et son argent, so it's completely negative here. Wasted his time and money. Okay. Let's see what do we have next. Here, they give us a poem. All right, let's have a look. Read these extracts from some French poems. What is the subject of each poem? Write the correct letter in each box. All right, so let's have a look. Poem number 1. Ils partiront avec moi pour les champs de bataille. So let me translate that for you. They will go with me to the battlefield. Ils dormiront la nuit sous la pluie et les étoiles. They will sleep outside under the stars and in the rain and under the stars. Ils obéiront avec moi au même commandement. They will obey with me to the same commandments, to the same orders. Ils souffriront. Souffrir here is to suffer. Ils souffriront du froid et du soleil avec moi. They will suffer of cold and from the sun with me. Guillaume Apollinaire. Guillaume Apollinaire was a poet, a French poet, obviously. Poet number 2. Poem number 2. J'étais jeune et belle. I was young and pretty. Et je le savais. And I knew it. Mais soudain, je venais de trouver, but suddenly, I've come to find quelques cheveux blancs, some gray hair. Sophie d'Abourville. Poème numéro 3. S'il vous faut un être cher, if you need a sweet lover, un être pour vous aimer beaucoup, someone who would love you a lot, moi je suis libre. I am free. Alice de Chambrier. Okay. So let's see. So here they give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 choices for 3 poems. So let's see. An offer of love, going to war, growing older, listening to music, the beauty of nature. So the first one, when it says le champ de bataille, battlefield, commandments, command and orders. So This one is going to war. Second one, when she said, I used to be young and pretty, and then she finds gray hair. Cheveux blancs. Cheveux blancs is gray hair. It's growing old. And then the third one, it's if you look for someone who's dear to you, s'il vous faut un être cher. Cher here, it's dear, like dear mom, dear dad. Un être pour vous aimer, someone who can love you a lot. So this one is an offer of love. All right. And then, yeah, that it is. So let's move on to the next text, which is about allergies. So, in an online article, doctors are giving advice on managing allergies. Which kind of allergies are they describing? Write the correct letter in each box. So, let's read the statements and I will translate, of course. Cette allergie se manifeste par une éruption de petits boutons rouges. This allergy manifests itself by the eruption of little red spots. Boutons rouges, red spots. Le conseil, the advice, être à l'ombre, stay in the shade, bien se couvrir and cover yourself. Les conseils, it means advice. Une personne qui est en contact avec l'allergène pleure. A person who is in contact with an allergy entity cries. Il est recommandé de ne pas trop sortir au printemps. It is recommended not to often go out during the springtime. Quand les arbres sont en fleurs. When trees are flowering. Les allergènes sont principalement dans les poils. Allergies entities are mostly in the hair. L'urine et la salive de certaines bêtes, the urine and the saliva of certain animals, notamment oiseaux et chevaux, notably birds and horses. Évitez donc de les caresser. Avoid caressing them, touching them. Gardez la maison propre. Keep the house clean. Et utilisez un tissu humide pour réduire l'accumulation de l'allergène. And use a wet cloth in order to reduce the accumulation of allergy properties like pollen, right? Pour ceux qui sont allergiques aux insectes, for those who have allergies, insect allergies, ces petits animaux peuvent rendre vos vacances désagréables. These small animals can basically ruin your holidays or make your holidays quite uncomfortable. Désagréable could be uncomfortable. Emmenez vos médicaments d'urgence. Remember to take, emmener is to take your medicine for emergencies. Les réactions allergiques peuvent survenir rapidement après avoir déjeuné. Allergies reaction can rapidly happen right after lunch. Consultez avec attention les paquets des plats préparés. Read carefully the label, the package, read carefully the package of prepared meals. Here, consulter means avec attention. Consulter, it could be like You might think about consultation, a doctor consultation, but here it's they put it in a way where it's like reading carefully the packaging. It's not about consulting the packaging, it's reading the packaging of prepared meal. Les noix sont particulièrement dangereuses. Nuts are particularly dangerous. Okay. I find this quite heavy, so but I hope you guys are doing okay. So it's basically by reading this and me translating this, it helps you hopefully to build more vocabulary and understand few words that usually can be like misleading. All right, so let's have a look. So the different type of allergies, which is food, dust, pollen, and sunlight. Okay, so the first one, cette allergie se manifeste par une éruption de petits boutons. Conseil, être à l'ombre et bien se couvrir. So this one has spots happening. And then the important thing, it says here, être à l'ombre, to be in the shade. Être à l'ombre. L'ombre is the shade. So I would say for this one is the sunlight. The second one, une personne qui est en contact avec les allergènes pleure. So il est recommandé de ne pas trop sortir le printemps. So you know, to go out during the springtime, that's when everything is flowering. And for this one is the pollen, allergique au pollen. Okay. Les allergènes sont principalement dans les poils et l'urine et la salive des animaux. So this one is talking about animals. And also, what can we say? 5152. So it's not about food, it's not about dust, it's not about sunlight, so we skip. Ok, garder la maison propre, utiliser un tissu humide pour réduire l'accumulation des allergènes. So it says here, keep your house clean and use a wet cloth to basically remove these kind of allergies. And it's the allergies is they're talking about is dust. If they say you need to keep your house clean. Okay, so let's do the next one. Pour ceux qui sont allergiques aux insectes, here they're talking about insects. And then médicaments. It's not food. It's not dust. It's not pollen. It's not sunlight. So we skip. And then la réaction allergique pour survenir rapidement après le repas. So this one is talking about food after le repas, après le déjeuner. So it's the food one. So it's right here. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next one. And this one is quite long, so probably we're going to spend a bit more time. Hopefully the vocabulary is not too bad. Of environmental problems. In a French newspaper, you see this article about the environmental on Réunion Island. So Réunion Island, les îles de la Réunion, these are French territories, and they belong to France, and they've been colonized, and they have been part of France. Okay. Les problèmes environnementaux à la Réunion. La Réunion offre une grande variété de paysages. La Réunion, so the Réunion is the name of the island. So the Réunion offers a plethora of different kind of landscape. Mais, however, la vie n'y est pas toujours rose. Life is not always rosy. À cause des sécheresses répétées, because of the drought, repetitive drought. Sécheresse is drought. Répété is repetitive. Dans certaines parties du pays, l'insécurité alimentaire s'est aggravée. In some part of the country, food insecurities has worsened, s'est aggravé, has worsened. Aggravé comes from the word grave, it's bad. When someone says c'est grave, it's bad. And here is the adjective, c'est aggravé, okay? En conséquence, the consequences, beaucoup de familles ne prennent pas de repas réguliers. Lots of families don't eat often, don't take any meals regularly. D'ailleurs, hence, des habitants doivent abandonner leur maison car la saison estivale est toujours marquée par de nombreux incendies. Hence, many people have to abandon their homes because the summer season, estival, it means it relates to summer. Summer season is always marked by lots of fires. Incendie is fires. Hence, lots of people have to abandon their homes because of the summer season, because the summer seasons is always marked by many fires. Okay, so let's have a look at the second paragraph. L'augmentation continue de la population complique la gestion des ordures domestiques. The continuous growth of the population is complicating the management of domestic waste. Okay. Les 3 centres de traitement de déchets ouverts en 2020, the three rubbish management center that opened in 2020 sont déjà insuffisants, are not enough. So basically the idea is that there's too much waste, domestic waste, and those 3 centers are not able to manage. They're not enough. Le déchargeage sauvage, so here décharger is to unload. So what they mean by les déchargeage sauvage, meaning people who are unloading wastes in nature, provoque la pollution visuelle au paysage. So it means it's provoking a visual pollution in the landscape. Et les déchets plastiques finissent souvent dans la mer. And plastic waste, always end up in the sea. So, les déchargages sauvages. So it means wild, if you want to translate it word by word, like literally, it's like wild unloading. The wild unloading of what? Is of the waste. And it's provoking a visual pollution in the landscape. and the plastic waste always end up in the sea. Okay, so let's look at the third paragraph. Pour éviter la surconsommation énergique, in order to avoid the overconsumption of energy, il est vivement recommandé aux touristes de couper la climatisation systématiquement lorsqu'ils ne sont pas présents dans leur chambre. Okay. In order to avoid the overconsumption of energy, it is greatly recommended that tourists cut the aircon systematically when they are not present in their room. En faisant une promenade, when you take a walk, ils ne doivent pas sortir des chemins touristiques indiqués. They shouldn't go outside touristic paths that are indicated. Et on leur demande de renoncer à cueillir les plantes rares. And we ask them not to pick rare plants pour protéger des écosystèmes fragiles, in order to protect fragile ecosystem. Okay, so let's have a look about the questions, and they are 1 and 2 and 3 marks. Okay, so the questions, the way they are organized is that the first one will always ask you something that is at the top, and then the next one, so forth and so on. Okay, so the first one, it says, what is the result of droughts? Okay, drought is la sécheresse. So the result of drought, à cause des sécheresses répétées dans certaines parties du pays, l'insécurité alimentaire s'est aggravée. So because of the drought, the food insecurity has worsened, s'est aggravé. L'insécurité alimentaire s'est aggravée. Okay. What is the result of fires? So let's see where they talk about fires. Fires, c'est incendie. Remember, guys? Incendie. So they tell us, in fact, d'ailleurs, alors, les habitants, it's people who are living in the islands, habitants. Okay? So, in fact, people doivent abandonner leur maison car la saison estivale est toujours marquée par de nombreux incendies. So, what happens here is they leave their homes. People leave their homes because of the fire. Okay, let's have a look at number 3. What are 2 consequences of the inadequate recycling center? Okay, let's have a look. That's the second paragraph. So, the 2 consequences of inadequate recycling center is that people dump waste in nature, right? Les décharges sauvages provoquent la population visuelle dans le paysage, so it creates a polluted vision because the landscape is polluted by waste. So people dump waste in nature, and also plastic waste end up in the sea. See, it has two lines here. Okay. All right, so let's have a look at the fourth one. It says, what can tourists do to help? Give 3 details. So this is the last part. So It says here, do you remember, pour éviter la surconsommation énergétique, il est vivement recommandé aux touristes de couper la climatisation. Climatisation is the AC, is the air conditioner. So they ask them to cut the aircon when they're not in their room, lorsqu'ils ne sont pas présents dans la chambre. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing is that en faisant une promenade, promenade is when you go on a walk. En faisant is when you go. So, when they go on a walk, ils ne doivent pas sortir des chemins touristiques indiqués. So, one, they should cut aircon. Two, they should stay on a touristic path. Des chemins, chemin is path, touristic path. And three, they should not pick rare plants in order to protect the weak ecosystem. Okay? Okay, great. I hope you guys are doing okay. I know it's a lot, but you can always like pause this video and take a break because I know it's a lot to take in. All right, so let's have a look at the next text. It's about apprenticeships. So you see this online forum in which students give their opinions about their apprenticeships. I'm sorry, I apologize. Alors, in French is apprentissage, much easier for me. Who makes the following statement? Okay, let's see. A for Arthur, B for Basma, A, B, Arthur, and Basma. So let's have a look of what Arthur says. Depuis que je suis petit, since I was little, young, je m'intéresse à un apprentissage dans le secteur de la beauté. I've always been interested in an apprenticeship in the beauty sector. J'ai également suivi des cours qui me permettront plus tard de posséder ma propre entreprise dans une autre ville. I've also already taken some classes that would allow me in the future to own my own company in another town. La vie coûte cher ici. Life is expensive here. Donc, je n'ai pas suffisamment d'argent. Hence, I do not have enough money. Les cours étaient fascinants et ça valait vraiment la peine. The courses were fascinating, meaning they were great, interesting. And here we have a pure French expression. Et ça valait vraiment la peine. Vraiment la peine, valait vraiment la peine, it means it was worth it. I don't know if some of the girls who are listening, you have the slogan of L'Oreal, it says, I'm worth it, it's worth it. And in French, if you watch the same commercial in French, she says, je le vaux bien, I'm worth it. C'est valoir. Anyways, I digress. Basma. Je n'avais pas en tête l'apprentissage. I didn't have in mind the apprenticeship. Mais depuis 3 ans, but for the past 3 years, je suis en alternance. I do part-time work. Un mois à l'école et un mois dans une entreprise. 1 month at school and 1 month in working in a company. On acquiert une maturité. We become quite mature. Et j'ai même pu économiser beaucoup d'argent. And I was also able to save a lot of money. To save money, en français, c'est économiser. On m'a proposé un poste ici, mais j'ai refusé. I've been offered a job here, but I refused. Je veux voir comment ça se passe ailleurs en France. I want to see how things are somewhere else in France. Il ne faut pas hésiter à se lancer. Don't hesitate to just go for it. Se lancer is just go for it. Okay, they've put a lot of French expressions that I hope that you guys, by doing this, you're able to learn them and hopefully keep them in mind if you see them in a different paper. Okay, so let's have a look. For the first statement, I'm hoping to run my own business. So that's Arthur. It's A because it says plus tard de posséder ma propre entreprise. In the future, I want to own my own company. Entreprise is a company, right? I have no money worries. Someone who doesn't have any no money worries. It's Basma because she says j'ai pu économiser. Économiser. J'ai même pu économiser beaucoup d'argent. I have saved lots of money. Économiser is to save money. Third statement is I have found my apprenticeship worthwhile. Worthwhile. Let's see. Dans le secteur de la beauté, j'ai également des cours qui sont plus tard que posséder ma propre entreprise. La vie coûte cher aussi. Alors, it's Basma because she says on acquiert une maturité. So meaning she was able to mature, right? To grow. So she find her apprenticeship worthwhile. Okay. And also Arthur says here, les cours étaient fascinants et ça valait vraiment la peine. So valait vraiment la peine, as I said, it was worth it. So it's Arthur and Basma. And then the next one is I've always wanted to do an apprenticeship. And then Arthur says since he was young, he was always interested in an apprenticeship. Depuis que je suis petit, je m'intéresse à l'apprentissage. So that's Arthur. Because Basma says, je n'avais pas en tête l'apprentissage. I've never thought about apprenticeship. So it's only Arthur. And the next one is I want to work somewhere else. So I want to work somewhere else. It's Arthur and also Basma because Arthur says he wants to have a company but in another world, in another town. And Basma says because they offered her, on m'a proposé un poste ici mais j'ai refusé. They offered me a job here but I refused. Je veux voir comment ça se passe ailleurs en France. I want to see how things are in France. Okay. All right, let's see what next do we have. So section B, questions and answers in French. Answers or question in the spaces provided. Un fantôme. Fantôme, it means ghost. So lisez ce texte du roman Le fantôme de l'opéra de Gaston Leroux. Complétez le texte suivant avec les mots de la liste. Écrivez la bonne lettre dans chaque case. So basically, they given us a text with empty spaces, and they gave us a list here of words that we need to plug in. The thing is, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 words here that we need to plug in, and I think they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here there's a list of 8. So 2 of them will not be compatible in the text. So let's have a look. First of all, let's have a look at the list and translate and see if we can understand them. Asseoir, means to sit down. Criant, criant comes from crier, to scream. Danser, just like in English, to dance. Disputer, just like in English, to dispute. Entendant, it means to hear. Passer, it means to pass through. Réprimander, it means to punish, to reprimand. And tomber, it means to fall down. All right, let's see. One other thing, guys, is that obviously we have to look at the context in order to make sure that the word is appropriate, but also some words have different meaning um, according to the context. So let's have a look. So it's very important that we understand the sentence and make sense of it. Um, one thing that we need to think about is like we are reading about Le Fantôme de l'Opéra, right? The Phantom of the Opera. So let's have a look. Ce soir-là, on donnait une soirée de gala. That evening, it was given a gala event. La Sorelli is a name. La danseuse principale is the principal dancer, the main dancer. Se maquillait dans sa chambre. She was putting makeup on in her room. Soudain, suddenly, les mademoiselles du corps du ballet, the mademoiselle of the ballet group, qui remontaient de scène après avoir whom they were uh, going back on the stage after having something something have entered sont entrés en courant dans une grande confusion have entered in a big confusion poussant des cris de terreur screaming with terror. Okay, so let's have a look. What could it be? So les mademoiselles du corps du ballet, the mademoiselle of the ballet group, whom they were going back on stage after being, let's see, or after having, I would say danser, après avoir dansé. Okay, because it makes sense, they were on this stage après avoir dansé. So from the stage, okay. La Sorelli, mécontente à something something, ses camarades. So la Sorelli, mécontente, she was unhappy. La Sorelli, unhappy, et à to something something, ses camarades, s'inquiétant d'un aussi tumultueux désordre. So she was unhappy, something of her colleagues, because she was worried of so much tumultuous disorder, chaos. So let's see. La Sorelli mécontente a réprimandé, because she was unhappy, so she reprimanded, a réprimandé ses camarades, s'inquiétant d'un aussi tumultueux désordre. Ok. La petite Jam a annoncé d'une voix tremblante. The little Jam announced with trembling voice, c'est le fantôme, it's the ghost. La chambre de la Sorelli paraissait un palais aux gamines du corps de ballet. The room of Sorelli looked like a palace to the gamine, it means little girls. to the little girls of the ballet group qui étaient logées dans des salles communes who were hosted in communal rooms où elles, something something, leur temps à chanter. Ok. Où elles passaient leur temps à chanter. So remember, guys, earlier I said passer, it means to pass by. But here in the context, when someone says je passe mon temps à lire, it means I spend my time reading, right? Is passer son temps à faire quelque chose is to spend something to do, spend your time doing something. So here passer is it's translated by spending time to do something. So let's see. So the room of Sorelli paraissait un palais aux gamines du corps du ballet. The room of Sorelli looked like a palace to the young girls of the ballet group who were hosted in communal rooms where they spent their time singing, où elles passaient leur temps à chanter. Okay? À battre les coiffeurs et à se payer des petits verres de bière et à se something. So, abattre les coiffeurs, to hit the hairdresser, and to pay themselves few drinks of beer et à se, let's see, et à se disputer. Et à se disputer. So you can imagine to dispute. You can imagine the scene where they are hosted in those communal rooms where they spend their time singing, but also it seems like abattre les coiffeurs to hit the hairdressers, but then it becomes chaotic when à payer des petits verres de bière, so to pay for little beer drinks, et à se disputer, and to like fight each other, right? It's very chaotic scene. La Sorelli était superstitieuse. La Sorelli is superstitious. She was superstitious. Elle a fermé la porte à clé. She locked the door, or she closed the door with the key. She locked the door with the key. Et en something parlait du fantôme, elle frissonnait et dit. Et en, let's see. Alors, et en entendant, non, et en asseoir, et en criant, non, et en entendant, c'est entendant, because if we translate that, et en entendant parler du fantôme, and when she heard talking about the ghost, elle a frissonné et elle a dit, she shivered and said, vous l'avez vu? Did you see it? Comme je vous vois, like I see you, a répondu la petite James. Has answered the little James, qui ne tenait plus sur ses jambes, who couldn't stand on her legs, et something sur une chaise. So here, I think it's tombé. Ouais, et tombé sur une chaise. est tombé sur une chaise. Et il est bien laid. And he's very ugly. Ouais, that's it. This is quite advanced. Obviously, it's a higher tier. So the advice that I could give you here is that first of all, you need to know the meaning, but also the meaning can change of the word when according to its context. But also, what they are including here is some really French colloquial expressions that um, are known to the French-speaking people. And this is actually a good practice. One other thing that I could advise is that when you look at, for instance, the ending of the past participle of a verb, like for instance, tomber. As you can see, tomber here, it has a, e, meaning the subject is going to be feminine. And here, if you get stuck, here we're talking about la petite James, which is feminine because it's petite. And we have the past participle, which is tomber, e, and it could be her, so you just have to make sure that the past participle correspond to the subject. And because we have the auxiliary être, when we have auxiliary être, the past participle agrees with the subject. So that's one trick you can use. But make sure to plug in and try to go through them all and just leave it blank if you're not sure, and then come back to it and verify it. Okay, let's have a look to the next text, and I believe it's the last one. Le règlement scolaire, school rules. All right, lisez le règlement d'un collège suisse. Read the school rules of a school in Switzerland. Choisissez un titre pour chaque paragraphe. Choose a title for each paragraph. Écrivez la bonne lettre dans la case. Write the right letter in the box. So let's have a look at the first paragraph. On est à l'école pour apprendre, donc c'est normal de faire des erreurs. We are at school in order to learn. Hence, it's normal, it's okay to make mistake. Si tu donnes une réponse qui n'est pas juste, if you give the wrong answer, or if you prefer, if you give the answer that it's wrong, then it's not just, then it's not the right one. Ne te fais pas de soucis. Don't worry. This is a French colloquial expression. Pas de soucis, no worries. Comme ça, tu peux faire des progrès. Hence, you can make progress. Okay. Let's read paragraph 2. 2. Tu dois prendre le plus grand soin des meubles appartenant à l'école. You need to look greatly after the furniture that belong to the school. Tu peux en profiter comme tout le monde. You can take advantage of all of it. Tout livre perdu sera remplacé par ta famille. All lost book will have to be replaced by your family. Okay, let's do paragraph 3. Certains élèves ont parfois des difficultés car les lieux ne sont pas adaptés. Some kids have sometimes some difficulties because the school premises, les lieux, it means l'endroit, it means the area. But here, what they mean par les lieux, it means the school premises. Ne sont pas adaptés, are not adapted. So basically, some kids have sometimes some difficulties because the school premises are not adapted Par exemple, pour les personnes à mobilité réduite. For example, for those who are limited in their mobility, such as some who are on a wheelchair. Montre-leur de la compréhension. Show them some compassion. Okay. Paragraph 4. Si tu as dépassé la limite, if you go beyond the boundaries, tu peux faire un geste envers tes camarades pour t'excuser. You can basically here you can apologize to your classmates. Cela ne supprime pas ta faute, mais ça permet aux autres élèves de savoir que tu te rends compte des conséquences de tes actions. This does not erase your mistake, however, it shows to the other students that they know that you acknowledge that there are consequences to your actions. Okay, it's quite heavy. All right, let's have a look. Title, so they gave us a few titles, 4 paragraph, 6 titles, so 2 of them do not fit. Here it says en cas d'absence. Absence. It comes from absent, just like the English. So none of these paragraphs talk about absenteeism, missing school, so it's not that one. Malgré des erreurs, on peut toujours réussir. So it's the paragraph 1 because it says on est à l'école pour apprendre, donc c'est normal de faire des erreurs. We are here at school to learn, so it's okay, it's normal to make mistakes. And then at the end it says, Hans, you can make progress, you can progress. So it's B. N'oublie pas le droit des handicapés. Handicapé is like it's handicapped, and we know where it goes because it says les personnes à mobilité réduite. So it's going to be for paragraph 3. Respecte le matériel. Respecte le matériel. It's the paragraph 2 when they're talking about the furniture of the school that belongs to the school. Prendre soin, prendre le plus grand soin, prendre soin is to look after. Okay? It's another French expression, prendre soin. Sois poli envers les professeurs. There is nothing mentioned about the professors here. Quand tu as fait quelque chose de bête. So when you did something stupid. So it's connected to the paragraph 4. When you've gone beyond your limits, and then you can apologize. Tu peux t'excuser à tes camarades. So it's the paragraph 4. Okay, let's see. Oh, we have another one, and I believe hopefully it's the last one. Okay, la pauvreté. La pauvreté, it means poverty. Vous voyez cet article sur le site d'une association caritative. You see this article on the website of a charity. Décrivez si les phrases sont vraies, fausses ou pas mentionnées. Describe if the statements are true, false or not mentioned. V for vrai, F for fausse, and P pas mentionné. So let's have a read and I will translate. Mettez-vous à la place de la petite Maya. Put yourself in Maya's shoes. Qui habite un pays pauvre, who lives in a poor country, et dont le papa et la maman travaillent toute la journée. And who her mom and her dad work all day long. Maya doit s'occuper de son frère. Maya has to look after her brother. Encore bébé, still a baby. Maya ne peut pas voir un médecin si elle est malade. Maya cannot see a doctor if she is sick. Elle et son frère ont souvent faim. Her and her brother are often hungry. Go often hungry. Malheureusement, unfortunately, des enfants comme Maya, kids like Maya, il y en a beaucoup. There are a lot of them. Comment l'aider? How to help? Ou que pourriez-vous faire, vous, pour l'aider? What could you do, you, in order to help? So let's see. Statement number one. Les parents de Maya ont des emplois. Maya's parents have jobs. Yes. Maya est une fille unique. Fille unique, it means she's the only child. No, she's not. False. Maya veut devenir médecin. Maya wants to become a doctor. It's not mentioned, so PM. Les enfants n'ont pas assez à manger. Kids don't have enough to eat. Yes, because it says here. Ils ont souvent faim. When you say j'ai faim, it means I'm hungry. Ils ont souvent faim. They are often hungry. Okay, let's see if there's another statement. Well, there's another text. Okay, une musicienne. Let's have a look. Lisez cet article sur la musicienne martiniquaise, Meryl. So you read this article about a lady from Martinique, a musician lady who's a musician called Meryl. So Martinique is another French territory. It's been colonized and it's under the French government. Toute petite, Meryl ne rêve que d'une chose, jouer du saxophone en public. Since she was little, Meryl, all she dreamt about is to play the saxophone in public. Ses parents étaient sensibles à sa passion. His parents were sensible towards her passion pour la musique, for music, mais ils insistaient toujours sur l'importance de l'éducation. But they always insisted on the importance of education. Elle a donc fini ses études avant de devenir musicienne professionnelle. She has finished her studies before becoming a professional musician. Vendredi dernier, last Friday, Meryl, enchantée, Meryl, delighted, a joué de son instrument devant le maire, have played her instrument in front of the mayor. L'année prochaine, next year, elle sortira son premier album. She will release her first album. Ses fans seront contents. Her fans will be happy. So it says here, répondez à ces questions en français. So, quelle est l'ambition de Meryl depuis son enfance? Ok, depuis son enfance, Meryl voulait jouer du saxophone en public. Ok, elle voulait jouer du saxophone en public. Qu'est-ce qu'elle a fait avant de commencer sa carrière? What has she done since before she started her professional career? She finished her studies. So, elle a donc fini ses études. Elle a donc fini ses études. La semaine dernière, qu'est-ce qui a rendu Meryl heureuse? Ok, on nous dit vendredi dernier, qu'est-ce qu'elle a fait? Elle a joué de son instrument devant le maire. She played her instrument in front of the mayor. Ok. And then, pourquoi est-ce que les fans vont être satisfaits? Why her fans will be satisfied? It's because she will release her first album. Elle sortira son premier album. Okay, great. Oh, and I think this is the final one. And it's ending with section C with a translation into English. So, your mother has seen this advertisement in a magazine and asked you to translate it into English for her. So, let's have a look. Avez-vous décidé d'acheter un nouveau portable pour votre enfant? Have you decided to buy a new mobile phone, cell phone for your kids? avant la rentrée scolaire, before the school term. So, have you decided to buy a new mobile phone for your kids before the new school term? C'est la meilleure façon, it's the best way, de rester en contact, to stay in touch, avec eux à la fin de la journée, with them at the end of the day. I hope you're okay, guys, and you're able to follow. I hope I'm not going too fast. Ok. Ils pourront aussi parler avec leurs copains en dehors de l'école. They could also chat, speak with their friends outside school. Dans notre magasin, in our shop, nous vendons des produits qui leur plairont. We sell items that will please them or that they will like. Okay, guys, I think this is it, and I hope this you're not too tired. This was a long one. It's the higher tier, obviously. But if you like this content, please, 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 I hate to beg, but that's all right. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, so each time I drop a new tutorial, you'll be notified. So I will see you next time. Take care. Salut.